to get it in. Does to Smith. Jabari for three and the win. Yeah! He got it!
We are here to Fuel Rockets News. This is the Rockets Fuel podcast. And of course, my name is LaShawn Binkley. You can always find me on Twitter at Binkley Hoops. And you can find my written work over at the Dream Shake and against the Warriors. So let's get right into it. All right, the number one reason why the Rockets lost last night was because of, unfortunately, Jalen Green. Jalen Green's had a very inconsistent season. He's had some games where, like for instance, the first Lakers game where he had a great game and he pretty much took over the game from the start. Then you had games like tonight or last night where he really struggled. He was only 3 for 10 from the field, had more turnovers than assists, had 4 turnovers, only 3 assists. Did have 6 a game on anything outside of a couple of 3-pointers. Your shot's not always going to be falling in other areas. Maybe making great defensive plays. Maybe going out there and getting 12 rebounds, even if your shot's not falling. Diving on the floor, whatever you have to do to affect the game, you have to do that. And last night, Jalen Green just seemed like he was just floating out there at times, to where, like I said, a lot of times I would look up and I wouldn't even notice that Jalen Green was even on the court. Most of the time he was just out at the 3-point line, not really making an impact on the game. And when you're the number 2 overall pick, you're in your 3rd season, a lot of people expect you to make that jump. You've got to be able to put your imprint on the game, even if you're not scoring. Like, for instance, a lot of times Dylan Brooks, actually before this game, he really wasn't scoring a lot as much as he had at the beginning of the season, but you always knew Dylan Brooks was out on the court because he was making an impact with his defense. I'm not asking Jalen Green to be a defensive stopper, but he does have to put his impact somehow, some way on the game, and he just hasn't done that. Even in the Clippers game before, yes, he did score 20 points, but again, he had 4 turnovers in that game as well. So he's been struggling these last few games to kind of find his foot, and a lot of that may have to do with just being in a different structure, not necessarily having the ball in his hands as much as he did the first couple of seasons. Now it's really Fred VanVleet running offense. So maybe it's just he's just trying to get used to being around more veteran-led team, a team with more structure, and maybe it's just going to take him a little bit more time to get into the groove of it. But last night, the Rockets definitely needed him, especially when he was running with those second units and just really wasn't providing any offense. The second reason why the Rockets lost last night was something that was kind of out of their control, and for the second straight night, free throw shooting. The Lakers shot 19 more free throws than the Rockets. The Rockets were only 8 for 10 from the free throw line, while the Lakers shot 29 free throws in last night's game in a 1-point game. I'm not one usually to go overboard with criticizing referees because there's so many possessions in an NBA game. Referees normally shouldn't affect the game, but in this instance, they absolutely did, because when you only lose by 1 point on the road and the home team shoots 19 more free throws, it's kind of hard to overlook that. One thing that just really stuck out to me about the free throw shooting was Alperen Sengun and Dylan Brooks were the 2 leading players when it came to field goal attempts last night. They shot 37 field goal attempts between the 2 of them, and they were perfect from the free throw line, 0 for 0 from the free throw line last night. Neither one of them took any free throws. And yes, Dylan Brooks did take 11 3-pointers last night, but he also drove to the basket hard on several occasions and did not get the foul call. Alperen Sengun, we know he's always going hard in the paint, so there's no reason why Alperen Sengun should have had 0 free throw attempts last night, as much as he was getting hit from Anthony Davis and LeBron James and whoever else was down there trying to guard him at the time. That's pretty inexcusable that 2 players take 37 shots between them and neither one of them take a free throw. So that was a huge difference in the game last night, was the 19 free throw deficit for the Rockets. The game before, we all know with the last 2-minute report against the Clippers, how many bad calls it was against the Rockets. In that game, the Clippers shot 10 more free throws than the Houston Rockets. In another close game, the Rockets only lost by 6 points. So free throws had a major part of was a major part of the reason why the Rockets did not win last night, because even if you get a handful more free throws, you probably pull out that victory, and probably pretty comfortably when you look at the final score. Now, the third and final reason is another thing that a lot of teams have dealt with over the years, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James is the reason why the Rockets one of the reasons why the Rockets lost last night. LeBron James had a season high last night of 37 points, as he seemed to take this matchup with Dylan Brooks pretty personally. um, we saw a lot of antics from last night from LeBron that I don't think we saw in a long time. He did the too small gesture. Gave Dylan Brooks a little bit of a push after a foul call. He stared down Dylan Brooks after another drive where both were on the floor. So you can definitely know that LeBron knew who he was playing last night. It wasn't just another game for LeBron because him and Dylan both. Dylan took the most shots he's taken all season. He took 21 shots last night, and you could tell from the start he was ultra aggressive. So you can definitely tell that these two were going at it from the very start. And we all know what Dylan Brooks said, jokingly or not, earlier in the year, where he said that he was going to lock LeBron down. So you know LeBron hears all this. LeBron is on social media a lot. He definitely knows when somebody is saying something about him, especially Dylan Brooks. And LeBron, from the start to the finish, just pretty much took the game over. And even though Dylan did make the mistake of trying to go from the steal, he even said it himself, the very last possession for the Lakers, where he tried to go for the steal, overplayed it, and let LeBron get to the basket and get fouled. LeBron was just ultra aggressive. He was involved pretty much everything on the court, and the fact that he's 40 years old and he's still doing this is pretty amazing. And at the end of the day, you just got to tip your cap, just like when Steph Curry go Steph Curry on the Rockets more times than not. You just got to tip your cap sometime. I mean, you're watching all-time greats, and as much as it hurts that the Rockets lost 2 straight games, some of the top players in the league, and there's sometimes you just got to look at it and say, hey, you did all you can do. You played good defense, and he still went out and did exactly what LeBron's been doing his entire career. So LeBron is definitely another reason why the Rockets did not come away with that victory last night. So yes, the Rockets have lost 2 straight, but to me, it's not the same losses that they were having in previous 3 seasons. I mean, yes, a loss is a loss, but at the same time, you can see exactly the path why they're in these games despite not playing that well at times. It's just because of their defense. Their defense never goes in a slump. Their defense seems to always be there. And even if you're not shooting well, you can always be in games because your defense is keeping you in games. And that's something that the Rockets have. I've talked about in the past that the Rockets play team defense. They don't depend on just one guy shutting down the lane like Anthony Davis. Everybody on the court is playing defense. Everybody is helping each other. And that's why they're able to continue to be in this game. And that's why I think they're going to be perfectly fine. A lot of people were saying, well, are they for real when they won a 6 straight? Yes, just because they play really good defense. Even in these losses, both of these games were in the low 100s. I mean, when have you really saw that with a Rockets team? A lot of time when the Rockets were losing in the past, even when they were winning some games, they had to score 120, 130 points because they were giving up 120, 130 points. But these games, they're really low scoring games because the Rockets are making these teams work to get these wins. And that's why I think they'll be perfectly fine. It's going to be tough tonight playing Golden State on a back to back. And Golden State is also on a losing streak. The Rockets got the Clippers on a losing streak. They got the Lakers after they embarrassed the Lakers a week ago. So you knew the Lakers were going to be motivated, and now you get the Golden State Warriors, who are also on a 6-game losing streak. So you know they're going to be motivated, even without Draymond Green. But Steph Curry is back, so it's going to be a tough game. We'll see how it all plays out. But the Rockets are going in the right direction. And one more player I just want to mention before I go is Alperen Sengun. I mean, Sengun has been say better. I mean, he's so young. He hasn't even turned 22 years old yet, and he's already out there dominating players that's been in the league 8 or 9 years. That very last play where he tied up the game, please, because that would continue to let us bring out these videos every single week. And make sure you hit that like button as well. We always appreciate the support, and let us know down in the comments, what do you think about the Rockets' last 2 losses? Are you discouraged? Are you still encouraged by the fact that they were 2 close games? And what do you think the reasons why the Rockets lost this game tonight? Please let us know in the comments. And as usual, make sure you check out the next episode of Rockets Fuel Podcast.